Hi guys, I am Golnoosh Hakimdavar, your professor for qualitative research methods. I'm coming to you to discuss three important components of a qualitative research. As you know, there's a lot of criticism against qualitative studies, but the reality is that qualitative research contributes just as much to research as does quantitative. They add different values to research, and they can be quite important and valuable for policy discussions and particular policy studies, which is where you're coming in. So three things I wanted to bring up: validity, reliability, generalizability of research. What is validity and what is reliability and what is the difference? Validity of your research is referring to the appropriateness of the research. Appropriateness comes in at every step of your research. We have talked about your research question, your research goals and purpose. We have talked about your research design, sampling, data collection. These steps, they all need to align very narrowly with one another. Your research question, if you're identifying a subject group, that group needs to align well with the sample selection, the sample style that you're using, the methodology that you're using needs to align well with the research that you're conducting. So if you're conducting a research on Cuba and you're going to be looking at the impact of the policy impact of US sanctions on Cuba from a US perspective, you want to select individuals who have been involved in the process of Cuba sanctions and are US policymakers. So you have to be very, very specific. If you find individuals who have been involved in the sanction process for another country or for the UN, their experience, as valuable as it can be, it will not help in increasing the validity of your research. So there needs to be that direct connection. The other thing is your methodology, your sample, they need to match your type of research, your research question. This is why we put so much emphasis and focus on designing a very well-written, narrow research question that identifies the different components involved. Going on, so we talked about validity, which is the appropriateness of the research. The other component that I mentioned is reliability. What is the difference between reliability and validity? Well, if validity is appropriateness, reliability is equal to replicability of your research. Can other researchers replicate the exact research that you're designing by reading your research design? Any researcher should be able to come in, read your research design, and be able to actually replicate that research. The results may be different, but they should be able to replicate the research. This is why you want to be as descriptive, specific, and detailed as possible when you're writing your research design. Think through all of the steps so that your research is replicable. Validity is very important. Replicability is very important. Now, generalization. Unlike quantitative studies, qualitative research is not going to look at a small group to generalize about a larger group. But you still need to create results. You need to create a very specific research that gives you results to give an explanation about that small group. So really anyone with that very narrow experience on Cuba should be able to come back and say, yes, this is the unique phenomenon that I have also been able to I have also experienced, right? So if you increase, of course, the number of interviews, the number of subjects that you're working with, the validity increases, the generalization increases. But we are limited in time, so we will focus first on validity, second on reliability, and lastly, generalization is not the key point that we're focusing on. Always write in third person. You're all doing great. I look forward to reading your research protocols.